I came down here. Let me get down here. Wow, I'm really getting thin on top. 5+ decades. My dad still has his hair at 82, and I'm pretty much there now. So I'm thinking I'm taking a little bit more after my mom's side. My Uncle Jeff and my mom's side, my godfather was pretty much all the hair was gone from the top. My granddad was always bald on top when I was growing up, and most of my cousins, my Uncle Jeff's kids, were bald very, very young. So the fact that I still have tufts of hair on top, but you can see there's gloss there. Thankfully, I'm not the vain type, and I keep on saying and threatening Sandy that should I get a bald spot up here, like a complete bald spot, it's all coming off. I'm doing a Jean-Luc because bald is beautiful. That was the first tangent for the night, right before bed. I just didn't even think about that one until I looked in here. And my hair has always been parted right there since I was 5. So no matter how much... Okay, so here's a quick tangent. I remember, so Mom used to just give us the buzzer when we were kids. And she had this little buzzer, and I can't remember what it was, but Brian and me always have brush cuts all year long. We never went and saw a barber or hairstylist. What's that? When we were kids. It wasn't until I hit high school and then I put zero effort into my appearance. Zero talk to my friends. Zero effort in high school. I was a mop head. And sporadically I would go get my hair cut. My dad started talking. There was the old post office in Winona became a his and hers hairstylist. The old post office shut down. It was empty for a while. When I was very young, it was open as a post office. Then they moved down to the corner of Winona and Highway 8. And that building sat dormant for a while. And then hairstylist, his and hers, opened up. And my dad loved going in there. And when I was a elder teenager. And so I started going there, and they started cutting my hair. And that's where I got my perm. Yes, I had a perm once. Never do that. Take it from me. Grade 12 yearbook. Not pretty. Not pretty at all. But I did have a perm once. And then I got rid of it and let it grow out. And then basically I would go to his and hers every bunch of months to get my hair cut. For the longest time. And I liked doing that back in college and in my early 20s. So, besides the perm, I remember going into his and hers, and they would always try, because back then in the 80s, the part was supposed to be in the middle for whatever, and they kept on trying it, and they even put goop in my hair. And without me touching it, I would leave his and hers and drive home, and by the time I got home, without me touching it, it was parted that way. Like, my hair is just so trained to go that way. Anyway, that's another tangent. So set tangent number 2 before we get into our topic of discussion. My beautiful, beautiful little tripod that my wife gave me years ago when I started doing YouTube videos and chatting to the camera. It's because it had a little light thing on it. It's busted. The leg broke off. So this is years old. It gave its life. It was very, very well used because it was a good tripod and then a handle if you wanted to walk around. And I use this lots. So I just came down here and I found this busted. And I should have realized it, because when I was using it as like this, I always felt one of the legs kind of wiggling more than it should have. And so I just finally, it's dead now. So into the bit of doom. So I came down here for a brief moment to find more original bricks from the era, and this is it. So when I use these up, I'm gonna have to go into use the older bricks that are good, but without, they will not be era specific for my next batch. I got batch number 1 done, 8 lots, 8 orders packed. They're on the dining room table right now. I'll take them to the post office tomorrow and drop them off in the mail and figure out how much the shipping is. But again, For those who ordered these 8, when you get them, just add $5 to the shipping on the envelope and PayPal me. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. If this keeps on going for a while, what I may do in the future is I may reopen, although it's never closed, my eBay account or my Bricklink account, which I've never sold on, but I might just do that and just put these things up on Bricklink and or eBay, and then you're covered and I'm covered. So we'll see how these 8 go. If people end up paying via PayPal when they get these lots, I'm not going to be too concerned. If some people do not pay, I think everybody that I've ordered, who has ordered from me, I know, so I'm not too worried about it. So, but going forward, if a lot more people order, I got a bunch more orders today, like 4 or 5, so I'll get those done, processed, maybe on the weekend or early next week. It's September and Josh is back in school, so I might have some time constraints there, but I would have to print off more, obviously. And some of those orders, this next order, they just want these stickers. They don't want them on bricks, so that saves me from trying to find more bricks. But if I need to get more bricks, they will not be area specific, because I'm not going to order them from Bricklink, because I got a whole bin here of bricks. But I'm not going to use my old yellowed bricks from the 70s. Yeah, there's the injection mold is on the side. You won't have to worry about that. I'll make sure they're pretty, clean, bright, glossy, but they will not have the holes in the bottom of the little pipes inside. But that's just give you an FYI. So, but on the next note, besides the hair, the broken tripod, and the 1x6 bricks, while I was down here, and I was just going to come down here to find some 1x6 bricks and then go up to bed, a friend of mine and I are corresponding, and he was mentioning his issue, and I guess I never consciously thought about it, and maybe I should have. But so here's the 924. It's one of the, like, the 928 is a perfect build, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it's a perfect build. Even though my friends have modified it to make it even more perfect. I'm going to say that because their modifications make it more perfect. But out of the box and building it, it's a perfect, fun build. It's a perfect nostalgic recollection of the original 928. It's a perfect build, as is with the instructions. There are deficiencies to a perfect build. And my friends have found those deficiencies and improved on those deficiencies, making them quote unquote more perfect for the 928. Rearranging the red, the trans red and the trans green, and a few other things. But again, right out of the box, it's a beautiful, beautiful build. Again, I said it before, I wouldn't change a thing, but I think if I build another one, even though this is my second, if I build another one, I'm going to take into account some of their fixes and try that and do a comparison. But I absolutely adore this build. Just following the instructions and building it. But, so then we'll put that aside. And the 924 is the one I built last. Because of course I built the 918 first, and the 918 first, and the 928 second. The 924 I built last. And I love this build because these two are very, very similar in style, a little bit. This one is similar in style, a little bit. And these two are similar in style, a little bit. But these things have a lot of common traits. These have a lot of common traits, and these have a lot of common traits. But it's really odd. But what I noticed now, because my friend mentioned it to me, is that this is 1.5 times bigger than the original 928, and this is about 1.5 times bigger. So it's 150%. It's 100% plus 50%. This is 100% plus 50% bigger than the 924, the original 924. This thing is twice as big, 200 times. That was odd. The light went out. This thing is 200 times, 200%, twice as big as the 918. Like, it's massively, massively bigger, twice as big as the 918. This is twice as big as the original 918. And he was mentioning that he was trying to build this thing to scale to this one, to this one, and to this one. Because what I just noticed now, when I put the two of these together side by side, they are exactly, almost exactly, you can see, exactly the same length on the wing side. And actually, it looks like the 924 is slightly longer, but it's not, because in the back here, like the whole thing lines up all the way across, from the guns all the way through to this piece, all the way back. The only difference is the 918 put all those trans green 1x1 plates on the back, and this one just, instead of putting this 1x1 cheese slope, they put a 1x2 cheese slope to cover that up. So the wing is exactly the same length. The whole wing setup is exactly the same length from front to back as the 924, the 918. So the other difference is, of course, that the rocket engine has two studs in on the 918 than the 924. The 924 has the rockets about 2 or maybe 3 studs out longer. But other than that, if you do it this way and center it, it's absolutely, the only thing is they added 4 studs wider. The 924 is 4 studs wider than the 918. So the entire base plate here is a 924, except it's missing the center 4 studs. So that makes this thing exactly the same length as the 924, which is not the same size as the 918. The 918 is smaller, significantly smaller than the 924. So he is endeavoring to make a 918 in this style shorter, so it more matches the 918 scale to the original 924 and the 928. And he's showing me pictures, and I thought, oh, that's just beautiful. I like the effort. I admire the effort. And he showed me those the other day, and I'm going, oh, this is fantastic. And I'm going, but I didn't think about it myself until I just got down here now. And I started playing around with the landing gear, thinking, like, am I going to change my 918 to reflect Jeff's 918 landing gear? Because I adore Jeff's solution to this, because the landing plates in the back are separate by 2 studs, because they come over out to here. And they're only joined at the top on the inside, because you can't put a 1x2 Technic brick on the outside, but I don't care. Like, Jeff's solution is beautiful. I sincerely say, go, if you're interested in that, go look up Jeff Van Winden. His solution to the landing pads on the 918, just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But I was thinking when I brought, and I said, oh, my other friend was talking about making this thing shorter. I was just looking at how I could do that. I'm just looking around, seeing blah, blah, blah. I could probably truncate this thing just by taking this 4x8 here out and just pushing them together, blah, blah, blah. And then I just started playing around with this guy. And then I realized that my landing pads that I put on the 918 are in exactly the same spot from front to back as the 924. like they, oops, it slipped off. They are identical in spot and on the front to back. Now side to side, of course, this would be Jeffy's solution here, because it's got a split between the 2 landing pads. And mine do not, right? My back landing pads are together. But I just found that uncanny that this is my solution for the landing pads. We're in exactly the same spot as the landing pads on the 924. So I am really ruminating, really, stroking my chin in deep thought here, and going over in my head how I can actually make this thing shorter, keeping the same stylistic approach to it, and seeing if I can do that. So I am intrigued now, but I think if I make it shorter, I'm gonna lose any ability to put fully retractable landing gear in. And then I would have to do exactly what my friend Mark did and put the landing gear underneath in a separate layer. As he said, the original 918 had that bottom part on it. So I would have to do that in order to get the landing pads back on to be retractable. But I am not going to take this one apart. I think I have enough parts in my collection to try and build this shorter. So I might try that. I am going to finish all my orders first, including the new ones I got. I'm going to get those printed and weeded and all the other stuff. So I'm going to do that before I start modifying the making a new 918 that's shorter. But I am so impressed by what my friends have done with these builds, and this is why I say also this is one of the most perfect sets for me and my appreciation of this hobby. I've always liked classic space since, again, I was 11 years old, 10 years old, whatever it was. But the fact that a lot of people have rekindled their passion for classic space because of the release of the 10497 and the modifications they're doing, and we can just go and we can just regale and really appreciate what my friend Chris did by rebuilding all the 3-digit classic space sets in this scale, and did an absolutely fantastic job doing it. And my friend Dave, who modified this one, and this one to be more in line with the originals, with the color choices and the all the various things that he's improved on all 3 of them. And my friend Jeff, who came up with wonderful landing gear, my other friend Paul, and everybody else, and everybody's who's my friends who are texting me, showing me what they're doing with the 918s and all that stuff. This is just fantastic. This is a good time to be a classic space fan. It's the release of one set. That's right, this set. I've also noticed in some of the space groups on Facebook, and I haven't watched the videos yet, they're doing a comparison between this set and Benny's spaceship that came out for the Lego Movie 1, the first Lego movie. Now, I know myself that I have 2 copies of the Benny spaceship somewhere in this room. They are sorted out into the collection, straight up. I personally was not impressed overall with Benny's spaceship. I mean, it was a cool build, but it was far too, well, I'm going to use the term greebled. It was far too non-classic space era specific, besides the color choice, compared to this guy. Like the Benny spaceship is a really cool build for the movie, but it was not, besides the color choice, it did not bring me back to 11 years old like this one did, because it didn't look anything like any of the spaceships that came out, and I didn't expect, and I wouldn't expect it to. And that's the whole thing. The Lego Movie is not for 1978 to 1981 classic space. It wasn't. That's not what it was for. It was for a kid having an imagination and building an ad hoc spaceship that was utterly fantastic. This was the set that was completely designed for a nostalgic walk down the memory lane from 1978 to 1981. And the fact that you could build the other 2, I think I'm all in the same scene, the fact that you could build the other 2 ships of the line that came out between 1978 and 1981. This is nostalgic fest. So the Benny spaceship did what it was supposed to do, which was, the ad hoc builds for the Lego Movie, and and there's a lot of cool pieces in it, and blah blah blah. But for me, it didn't fit my style of building, and it didn't fit what I consider to be classic space building. Besides, again, the color choice, and it was out of scale for my layout and everything else. So I had 2 copies, and they used to be in a separate bin, but they got so busted up, and I'm quite sure I just put the pieces into the collection. I may quote, in the winter, when I have time and my basement sorted, I may build one again to see if I still have the same appreciation. I appreciate the ship as it was for the movie, but not for this. But some people have it, obviously, because some people have a different way of collecting than I do. Some people have pictures of this with the Benny spaceship beside it, and they're doing a comparison. I want to watch those videos. Excuse me. I want to see what they have to say about it, because I know what I would say about it. I mean, it's fine as a set. It was good carts. I got the Space Unit Kitty. And Simon has one of my Space Unikitties. Keep them, Simon, because you gave me your mech. So, or even, but I have a Space Unikitty in my layout because of that set. And so I'm impressed with it for that. I'm impressed with it for the functionality, but it did not make me nostalgic for the 1978 to 1981 sets. So that's just my one critique of it. And this is why I don't have it together, because I couldn't use it in the layout. It was out of scale to the rest of the layout. Just like this one, I cannot use this one in the Classic Space layout. This one is one that's going to be in a Classic Space layout because it's small enough to go in the Classic Space layout. It won't look out of place, because if I remember correctly, let me just see if I can pull this down without wrecking my room. Let's see. This is going to be squeeze. This is like reaching to a shelf and grabbing a Galaxy Explorer. So that's what I do. So right here, we'll go this way. You can see that the Galaxy, let me put the landing gear down on this guy because it's just getting in the way. I love the landing gear. The Galaxy Explorer sitting on top of the 918. The 918 is actually slightly longer than the Galaxy Explorer. So the new 918 is slightly longer by maybe 3 studs than the 918. So that means it'll probably be exactly the same size, the same length as the 924. So let's see if that, see, this is me ad hocing things. Let's see if this thing is exactly the same length. Oh wow, the 924 is far longer. All right, that's, yeah, that makes sense. 924 is longer than 918. What am I thinking? I forgot about that. So the 918 new build is longer than the original Galaxy Explorer. So, but not much longer, right? So I could put this thing on one of the landing pads on the layout, and it won't look terribly out of place, except for the fact that it's light blay and not light gray. But give me a sec. I'm gonna try this. Again, I didn't expect to do this, but I'm talking about it. On landing pad. you don't want to know how many I have over there. So my friend Chris, he used all those new road base plates that you can connect together with the 2x4 tiles, and he made a landing pad that is 1.5 times bigger than this one. So, and he's got the Galaxy Explorer on that. But if we, where am I here? There, that's not too bad. I can handle that. This will be fine, because it's basically exactly the same as this, right? So I mean, this thing's stuck over the ends of the landing pad a little bit, and I like that in the layout. And so this one should be fine, and this one will probably be on top of the habitat, because that's where I put my special ships that I'm showing off for a show. So this one is going to come to shows going forward, and because it does fit in the landing pad. But if you get like a 924, I mean, that's a little too big, and then of course this thing, you're not even gonna see it. You don't even see the landing pad. So there's absolutely no point to bring this ship to a show with the Classic Space layout, because it's out of scale. I mean, again, I loved when we went to Brick World Chicago, our friend Ian brought his, I think it was at least 5 base plates long. It was a ship, like for September, and it was a gorgeous ship. It was a cargo container ship. And basically I just put 5 landing pads in a row right in the middle of the layout for Brick World Chicago, and he plopped it down, and that's where it sat for the show. And I liked it there, but it was completely out of scale for the layout. Now, if you have one of those layouts, just like the moon base, you have a whole ad hoc with a whole bunch of people that goes across a bunch of tables. You can hide a 6 base plate long spaceship in that kind of layout, because it's a big layout that it goes basically one of those train layouts or whatever, and then it just goes across multiple tables. But for a layout that's only 5 foot by 7.5 feet, and you drop off a spaceship that's going to cover 5 landing pads, that's one half of the layout. Really, like it's out of scale, and so I realized that is completely out of scale, unfortunately. But it is, and what I'm thinking is I'm appreciating what Chris built with the landing pad built using those road plates. That if I want, it did hit my mind. Trust me, it did hit my mind that it'd be interesting to rebuild this tower in this scale. I mean, it would be much bigger, and it has crossed my mind, and I won't say it hasn't. I've actually put some serious thought into it, and saying, especially when Chris had those road base plates. I don't have any of those base plates at all, but I'm sure I can get on a lug bulk and get them, and start building 3 or 4 landing pads that I can elevate, that are 1.5 times bigger than this guy, and see if I can actually make a surround around them like I did here with this guy, and see if I can do it. I am curious, and so you know, and I got a ton of Technic, an absolute ton of Technic to reinforce everything. So, you know, so the thought had crossed my mind that maybe I'll make a different layout, not as extensively detailed as the one I have with my classic space layout, but maybe just a tower and a couple landing pads that will hold 9/2/8 in the new scale, and the 9/2/4s in the new scale, and the 9/1/8s in the new scale, and all the other stuff that Chris built in the new scale. Because trust me, Chris, I'm going to rip them off. I'm sure he's going to start building some of those. They're awesome. But anyway, all that said, this was supposed to be a quick video, and we're already a half an hour into it. I just happen to notice these things. I happen to be thinking about what my friends are doing right now with this set, and inspiring me very, very much, especially with the idea of making this thing a little shorter, and I want to absolutely try that. I don't know if I'm going to have time in the near future because I'm busy packing orders and getting these labeled bricks to people. And as I say, I've done my first lot of 8 orders, and that was, I think, 13 sets, because 1 or 2 people ordered 3 sets, a bunch of people ordered 2 sets, and only like 1 or 2 people ordered 1 set. So they're all packed up, and so now I have to go back because I'm out of bricks now. I think I have a set upstairs, and this is the original. I'm gonna remove those numbers because they're not. You can tell this is too high on this side and this is too low on that side. So I mean, I could try to take them off, but when you try to take them off and reposition them, especially since they've been done a while, it basically rips the letters. So it's gonna be, so it's gonna be, you just have to take them off and start from scratch. See, this one happens. So I'm gonna do this from scratch, and do some more, because again, as I say, I got more orders today, yesterday and today, and so I completed my first 8. Then I'm going to get a bunch more, and thankfully, as I said, a lot of people, some of those people have ordered just the stickers and not the bricks, because I am running out of bricks. So or the proper bricks. I'm not running out of 1x6s altogether, but I'm gonna see what they want, and if this keeps on going, like if I keep on getting orders going forward, like for the next 4 or 5 or 6 months, I am going to just either do it through eBay or through Bricklink, because honestly, I don't want the worry. I do trust the people that I've ordered so far, that they're gonna pay me, right? Because I did say, pay me when you get it. But I think, you know, I got a lot of subscriptions, a lot of subscribers to this channel. And again, I'm a very trustworthy sort anyway. But also, right now everything's manual too. So what happens is you guys send me an email, and then I have to go look at my email, which is a disaster to begin with because of it's Google Gmail. It's not in my Outlook, and I can't organize it very well. So now I have to go looking for the emails to find the addresses and stuff like that. Whereas if I do it on BrickLink, all that's already given to me, and I can print off the shipping labels and everything. Like I had to manually make all the shipping labels and everything else. So I am going to see if I want to do this via BrickLink. But again, it's going to be $5 for a set of 4 bricks, because I think that's perfectly acceptable. Oh, I should have mentioned this. So I did some looking at the postage rates, and I did not know this, but I find this out when she took the letter to the first one that I gave to a friend, because we exchanged bricks, so it wasn't being charged. And he was in Canada anyway, Ontario. So to deliver in Ontario, it's registered as a letter mail, because it is in a small bubble envelope, and it's like less than a 1/4 inch thick. The problem is that as soon as you ship it to the US, mail it to the US and mail it to international, it's not a letter anymore, even though it's got the same contents in it. It is now a parcel. So I'm hoping I'm going to find out tomorrow when I drop them off at the post office, and I will absolutely let you know how much the postage rate is, because I think it's basically it's going to be a flat. If it's California, Arizona, or Tennessee, which I'm going to be mailing tomorrow, it's going to be the same price to come from my house to there. But I think it said something like 6, 7, or this light is very odd. I'm just going to turn it off because I worry. So I think mailing something to the U.S. parcel post for a small bubble envelope is all gonna be the same price, and I think it's like I'm hoping it's $3, but I think it's gonna be around $6. I don't know, and international is like 11, which really bugs me. But I will find out the exact price tomorrow, and I will make another YouTube video. I guess that's all I seem to be communicating with you guys is YouTube. I emailed everybody today the 8 orders today that I got packaged up. I sent pictures of the package on my dining room table and telling them that I'm going to drop them off at the post office. I don't think I said that. I said they're ready to go. But by the time I got all 8 done, it was after 9, so the post office was closed. So I'll hit it tomorrow. Saturday, I have a wedding to go to, so that's kind of blowing that day. It's gonna be a nice wedding. And so Sunday, Monday, it's a long weekend. We're probably gonna do family stuff, so I probably won't get around to the new orders because I have to print just like I did, just I showed you in the other video, printed and then weeded. It takes a long time. That's the longest time. That part is the longest bit. But other than that, sticking them onto the bricks, you saw the video yesterday. It doesn't take me hardly any time now. I got it down to a science using the yellow bricks to help me line them up properly, and then printing off the shipping labels. And basically, because it's not coming through BrickLink or PayPal or anything like that, I just type in your address in Microsoft Word and print it off on an 8x11 and cut them out. I get five or six addresses on a sheet, and then I just cut them out and tape them to the bubble envelope. I have used up all my bubble envelopes now, so I have to go get some more. So there's that. And it's fun. It's honestly fun. I'm having a good time doing it. I know it's been a long time since I did anything like this, and it was like when I was selling instructions way back in the day before I started giving them to Jeff to sell. But I honestly had a lot of fun doing it. And again, I'm not in this to make money. I just want to get my costs back, basically. And I want everybody to really enjoy this set and this set and this set, right? And part of that enjoyment is seeing the right numbers on it. At least it was for me. I couldn't wait to get my Cricut out there and make the right numbers, because this is a 918. Right now, actually, I should replace that one, because that was my original. I didn't put the space between the LL and the 918. All you guys are getting the right ones, and like just like here's the space one. You got the space between the LL and the 924. You got to see the right number. And it has to be that way. I mean, there's no justice in the universe until you got the right number on the side of the ship. So, some other people have asked me if I'm going to print off 928 stickers, because like if I show you this, let's just take this apart for a sec if I can. Make a mess of this, because you know I like making messes. Not that I couldn't go find this in the whatever. So you can see this is off-white. The original that the Lego sent with the kit is off-white. It's not white. It's not gray, but it's kind of a light white, a faded white. Whereas the Cricut, I'm just cutting off a white vinyl. So would it be nicer to have this match that? Sure, absolutely. So me printing off a 928 to match the 918, the 924s, actually it's a fantastic idea. I just don't have the wherewithal at this time to do so, and if I get around to it, maybe at some point in the future, I will print off 928s. And oh, hey dude, sit down. There you go. But here's my other point: if you guys actually want 928s, since I'm gonna go possibly on Bricklink anyway, I will make them. And it won't be the 928-A, which I do appreciate, and I'm glad the sticker shops are doing that, the 928-A. But it's something, I'll tell you what, I'll put whatever you want on a sticker. So, because I got the font now. So if you want some custom prints, custom numbers on your spaceships that are this size, like I can't do the original size. I cannot, should have left this one down. That original size is really, really tiny. And if I show you this, I'll have to keep this movie going longer. I did that. Now that's microgramma normal, so it's not bolded at all. But that took a lot more work to weed, because the letters are so thin, the lines are so thin. I mean, I think it looks great myself, but that's just me. But that was a lot of work. A lot more work than this, because the letters are bigger here. You got a lot more forgiveness. They don't pull off the sheet as much because you got a lot more sticking to the sheet. I may replace these with bolded, but if you do want the original size, the 1x4 brick with the numbers on it, I can do that. And if you have a specialty, if you made a Classic Space era mock that you want to have an LL621 or whatever you want on it, drop me a line, honestly, and I will quote you a price. And I'll probably just, on those, I can't even speak. In those instances, I'll probably just send you the stickers, and then it'll be cheaper because it's gonna be letter mail anywhere in the world. Because it will not be a bubble envelope, it'll be just a regular envelope, like I'm sending you a letter. And then I can send you whatever you want, but as long as it's not too complicated. Like I don't want like it was a dark and stormy night story. If you want an LL whatever digits, I'm in. If you want some sort of the weed break for nobody, like in the back of Spaceballs, maybe we'll talk about it. But an LL number, any LL numbers you want, let me know. I can whip them off on the Cricut and get them in the mail to you, and we'll work out a price. But we can talk about that later, because it's already 38 minutes. Holy moly. Okay, I've talked enough. So many tangents, so many discussion points. I am going to bed. It's almost the weekend. I still have to put out the garbage. Sorry, I gotta go put out garbage now. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourselves, the important thing. Take care of those you love, and know that I'll keep on putting these videos out to bore you, go off on many tangents, and I appreciate you, and I'm having fun. That's, for me, that's very important right now. So stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.